another episode of the Burnout Show, and this time I'm talking to Teresa Wolfe. You're a multi-talented lady. You are the mindful eating maven, it says on your website. You're trained as a nutritionist, but you're very compassionate about, compassionate is the right word, about nature and environment, and you teach people how to be mindful when they eat so that they listen to the body's intelligence, which tells them what is the right food for them. That's just my short version. Please correct me if I forget something, because I know you also offer coaching and you've done the Earth Day and you offer lots of other things. You have a book, so go ahead and tell us a little bit about that. Teresa, what are your main ambitions in life?
I'll pick up the ball from here. So originally I'm trained as a food scientist and have been working in the food industry for many years. I was actually a research scientist at the University of Minnesota at one point. And from there, I also became interested in wild foods. So as a food scientist, I learned a lot about processed foods, and my health, well, I had digestive issues. So my health caused me to start investigating organic foods and local foods. And then eventually I moved into researching and studying wild foods. And I went from there into plants as food and medicine, and became a certified herbalist who actually could teach other people to be certified herbalists. And from there, I also, well, concurrently, I was an environmental advocate and educator. And so I worked in all three of those fields for over 30 years. And I found that each one of them didn't feel like what I was looking for. And ultimately, I got to where I am now, which is the mindful eating maven. And my goal is to help people to optimize the food that they eat, regardless of what the diet is. And I understand that most people don't have an ideal diet, but I have learned through all of those experiences and my personal quests that that a lot of the reason people don't eat well, but also a lot of things that contribute to issues has to do with what they tell themselves while they are eating. And so I'm just asking people to start by being more mindful as you eat. Start noticing your self-dialogue, start noticing your body's responses to the foods that you eat. Are you more energy, less energy? And really, before you realize it, well, I shouldn't say it's not particularly fast, because it's a psychologically shifting change that just happens where you start noticing which foods make you feel better. Then you prefer them. And then ultimately, when you have a food craving, you're craving that healthy food. You don't crave just whatever you can get your hands on. And so I found that was the gentlest and kindest way to help people to have a healthier diet and lifestyle.
You triggered so many questions in me by mentioning that, because I had this vision of me having like a quick salad while I'm checking my emails at work, or everybody in like a tiny little room without a table, like crunching away between two stressful clinics. And there's no time, unless you are alone and you're not doing anything else, to really learn how to be really present with your food and your eating and your thought. So yeah, we would have to be alone, right? I mean, you can sit in a crowded room but not talk to other people, because otherwise you can't have this experience. And also, I came back from Paris yesterday, and there was a meeting at the UNESCO with the Rotary, and I loved what they planning to teach teachers, how to teach children about the environment and how children then can start changing their habits, because I still saw children throwing rubbish, and I thought, like, how can you do that? Aren't you aware yet how damaging that is for the environment? And so yeah, that was something that I thought was very impressive. There's actually a PDF that they're gonna hand to teachers who are willing, so make it easier for them to teach children about climate change and things like that. So that was progress, in my opinion. And also they showed these people who are protecting islands in the Pacific from rubbish and stuff like that, because they're still pristine, and they try to keep the rubbish away. Because they're creating all these natural parks and reserves all over the world, where people are actively involved in keeping the rubbish out. So I thought that was very nice. And my last thought that went through my head while you were talking, and there was a lot of information coming in, is my last night in Paris, I didn't want to eat another cheese sandwich. And I just listened to my body, what would make me happy? And I had oysters. And I sat alone in an oyster bar, and I was just tasting these different types of oysters. They just give you some vinegar with it. Actually, it was like an old special vinegar to put on it. And it was absolutely a blissful eating experience for me, because I just could feel the freshness and the protein nurturing me. And I did say sorry to the oysters, because they're dead, because I, I eat them. But yeah, that was like a blissful food experience for me. And I was on my own, so that helped. So yeah, thank you for reminding me of all these things that are happening and that we need to be more mindful of. What else?
What I was going to say,
Yeah.
well, I didn't mention, and so people may be confused, that this mindful eating behavior will ultimately help the environment. So that was, I want to tie that in with where you went with it. That because when you start eating more mindfully, you become aware of where did your food come from. You become aware of when you hear your fullness cues better, and you will eat less, because you're going to realize that you're full sooner. And then when you start to prefer the healthier foods, you end up with less food waste. And so that's where my environmental education piece comes in, because it contributes to a healthier environment by doing that. I'd like to take a minute and address your comment about eating and being busy and people being around. That's the whole point of why I'm doing what I'm doing, because most people are that. And the first thing I would love for people to do is go, oh, I'm eating in front of the computer again. That's okay. It's okay. I just want my body to absorb what it needs and let go of the rest. Or I'm eating at a fast food restaurant. It's okay. I want my body to absorb what it needs, release the rest. So I'm looking to promote a kinder, gentler way, a more holistic way to nourish people's bodies.
That's good. I want my body to absorb what it needs and let go of the rest. I love that. So I'm writing it down.
Good.
Ah, awesome. I remember the last time we spoke, you gave me some tips on fresh herbs that
Yes.
I can eat to quiet my stomach or to appease my stomach. And I like mint. We spoke about that it's also very good when you have travel sickness. And ginger helps with the digestion. And what were the other ones again?
We talked about your favorite three, I think it was.
Coriander.
Ginger, peppermint, and basil.
Yes,
Those
and
were.
coriander I also love. Some people don't like coriander because they say it tastes like soap. So it depends on your taste buds or something.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I definitely like the taste of coriander.
And so what I mentioned, was that a lot of herbs that are in cooking, the reason they are there is because they either will keep spoilage bacteria from growing, or they assist in digestion or assimilation of nutrition in some way, or they will cover up the flavor of food, that especially in the Middle East with the really high, strongly spiced dishes. Initially, those flavors were incorporated to a certain extent because they didn't have refrigeration. And so they needed something that would halter or stop the spoilage from progressing and also mask the taste for a while, so we could. And also spices are often immune system building as well. For instance, garlic is one of those.
Yes. Yeah. I love garlic and onions, actually. It's detoxing also, isn't it?
Peppermint is a digestive, and basil is highly nutritious, does help with the digestion, but a lot of it is the nutrient spectrum that it offers. And your third one, ginger, oh, it's wonderful. It's warming for the stomach. So it helps with that digestion. And it's a good one when you're feeling kind of run down to drink some ginger tea, because it helps with the whole system. And peppermint, I know one thing I mentioned that you liked was peppermint is what they call a diaphoretic. It opens the pores. And so it helps you to sweat out the toxins of the body. And if you're not feeling well, to take a bath or a shower and drink peppermint tea is a nice way to move it on through.
Fantastic. Right. Well, I think we covered a lot of things. Is there, we're still gonna promote your book. What is the title, please?
The book is it's a proposal at this point.
So we can't purchase it yet.
No.
Okay.
But it's called Soulful Sustenance for Conscious Leaders.
Love it.
So
nice title. And
I did want to mention one more thing. I know you have many things and need to get on with your day, but I also wanted to make sure that you mentioned that with mindful eating, that's where you get more energy for your food, and that helps with burnout. It on so many levels. It'll help you to bring yourself back into your body.
Yeah.
As you mindfully notice your food, and then that asking your body to absorb what it needs and release the rest. All of those things will help people with burnout to get more energy and to get more nutrition from their meals.
Yes, and chew more often so that your food is already broken down and it's less hard on your digestive system to get the nutrients out. I remember that one. Yeah, that's wonderful. I wanted to mention also that you have mindful eating challenges, which I took part in recently, but I suppose that people can enroll in them regularly, or is it just once a year, or?
I have two of them. One was the one I just did now for Earth Day, which was the mindful eating and the earth connection. And that one, people could do at any time. They'd have to contact me at this point because the massive event is over. But then I have another one called Eat, Savor, Love. And that's for mindful holiday eating. And actually that's valuable anytime, and that people can they can connect me, and I've got that set up as actually a course that people could take at their own time and in their own pace.
I like the idea of holiday eating. I've planned a writing retreat in Greece, so I'll definitely have to have a look at that. But it's going to be wonderful because all the food there is like local and so fresh that it's a tiny island I'm going to, and you have to tell the chef the night before if you want fish, because then they pay a fisherman to go and catch one fish for you. So it's very sustainable. Or if you want octopus, they go look for one octopus. So yeah, I love that. So
Yes.
holiday eating, that's a new term that I never thought I would exist, but well done you. You can probably copyright that one.
Oh, never thought about that, but I released that last November before the major holidays
Okay.
were came around, and it was basically to set people up to be able to go to their events and totally enjoy. You know, what's a way I can enjoy and not have this whole mind conversation about, oh, I can't eat this other cookie, or I can't eat another meal, or I ate too much at the party last night, or whatever.
I'm feeling
Again,
guilty
it's
afterwards.
mindset reframing. Yes. And actually, I am going to run that as a big event in, I think for the 4th of July, which in the United States is our Independence Day.
Yeah,
So it'll probably be in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to run it again.
good. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much for your time. People can contact you how exactly?
Teresa at teresawolfe.com is my website. And on the top menu, it says contact us. So they could contact me teresawolfe.com. We'll have to put how to spell
Yeah, I'll
it.
type
Oh,
it
actually,
under the video.
it's in my Zoom. It's in my Zoom image, but
Okay.
that's how you spell my name.
Yes.
And then they can get it at my website, or it's just Teresa at teresawolfe.com.
Perfect. Wow. So to recap, for the burnt out listeners, mindful eating, watching your thoughts, chewing your food so that you get more nutrients out of it. And what would be the third tip?
And asking your body to assume what it needs, assimilate what
Yes.
it needs, and release the rest. Those would probably be the top tips.
Yes, I love it. So I'm going to type that out, and thank you so much again, and lovely seeing you.